Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, friends of all ages. We've got another good one today. We're kicking things off with playoffs. It's Gus and I back in the booth to bring you guys Booze Clues going up against Overcommit for round one. This is where people start getting knocked out. This is where rounds start getting crazy. It's the best of 7 today, and I couldn't be more excited to really try and put a cap on this season. How about you, Gus?
Yeah, no, I'm very much excited because we've actually seen Booze Clues face off here on stream, and they were a pretty good team, to say the very least. So kind of seeing some actual knockout action here, not just last week dramatics or something of the sort, just to see a couple of teams if they can even qualify. No, this is it. These guys, they've been playing off for the past month and a half, 2 months, just to get to this one moment. And it's only single elimination. That's the worst part. 1L can put a whole detriment on your entire season. Now, looking forward, we only have a singular team that, well, has already made their way into round number 2 already. If I'm not mistaken, it's Google Assistant. But otherwise, it is a massive day. 32 teams have made it into playoffs. And it just so happens to be that this is one of the games that might be the most interesting.
Yeah, and for a third seed versus 30th, I think you have to recognize that those Division 2 teams, they may be seeded technically low, but they're real contenders for a lot of these matches, and this is where that Cinderella story starts. For a team like Overcommit, an upset here means so much more from a momentum. So getting over this first hurdle is definitely going to be tricky for them. We'll see what they can get up to. Let's start into game one, Gus. Playoffs kick off here.
Playoffs kick off, and of course, again, Booze Clues, they're going to be in the blue. Overcommit in the orange. And now in you go. It's going to be tied, actually, sending it forward. Feed still trying to get a little bit of a pass in. That's, again, good early aggression, but nothing too crazy to actually talk about. Early on in these games, we see a lot of what would be just hard bumps towards one side or the other, and not exactly some insane passing plays, just development just like that. You just want a little bit of free space just so you can set yourself up, but we're not seeing any of those opportunities just yet. Instead, we're just seeing cars fly in, and Smackdo almost got a massive opportunity in midfield.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Booze Clues a little bit on the back foot. We know they like to play defensively for a good amount of the time, and that's exactly what Overcommit need to be careful of. Overcommitting, playing too deep into the opposing half. And I know it's very tempting to play heavy into Booze Clues, especially when they're giving you so much space, but you can't let them pull the old bait and switch on you, push in for a counterattack, and take one away. Scripto with what a save! In the back line, barely reaching over to that one, but the pressure is far from done. Feeds up. Another great save by the goalkeeper here for Overcommit, but they're not quite done. The pressure continues to mount as Booze Clues take on more and more aggression.
Take on so much more, but man, intuitive. Right into cup it. Good stuff. And now Scripto, same thing with Smackdo, trying to approach that ball. Indeed, Smackdo lives up to the name, smacks it on away, and he does it again. Up over onto the wall, and he's still bouncing it over. Could be a massive pass in midfield. Intuitive still playing around with it, but now Feed somehow has an opportunity. Barely was able to get boost, but even with only a singular point of boost, he gets himself what is a tricky little goal. Bounces the ball forward, hits off the back post. There's nobody else in goal, and that's probably the most unfortunate part, and Feed just gets a nice fundamental goal.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the missed save off the backboard there that ended up doing it, and you have to think what came up to that play. Oh no, not another. Scripto's there for the save, but that's what I was talking about, is right, Scripto's been back for the save, everyone's been in, making save after save for Overcommit.
No way.
But how many of those is it going to take before they make a little slip up like that off the backboard? They have to learn to build out of their half, otherwise it's just going to be more shots coming out from Booze Clues, and it doesn't matter if you block 90% of them, you're still getting scored on here, so they have to clean up the way that they're building out, the way they're touching this ball towards the outside, and the way they're following it up as well. If he's going to have another shot here, laid down. 3 members committing for this one. It's dangerous, and a bouncer towards the corner is not going to be put in. Cuppet finally gets a touch out, but this midfield control from Booze Clues is just suffocating.
Just choking out that defensive side. That's
no.
really all you need. Oh, man! Smackdo barely comes in flying for that save. Oh, man. Again, so many cars flopping in that defensive side, and you just so happen to have Smackdo still ready and raring to go. Again, this guy has been all over the place. Already 2 saves in the game, but I can tell you for sure, again, the stat system can be a little bit brokey. Yeah, no, he definitely has a few more than just 2 saves. This guy has been so efficient on the defensive side. Speaking of efficient players on the defensive side, in comes Scripto. 3 saves for him already. There's another one, make it a 4th. And, well, although we're seeing Booz Allen just continuously assault this defensive side, we're still getting some great saves from this team.
And I'll say it again, the saves out of Overcommit have been just insane. They're on another level defensively. They just need to find some sort of attacking side to work with. That's a big bump. It's going to give them possession, at least in the corner. They can't control it, though. Back to their own side they go, and back to square one, Gus. This is not where they wanted to be with a minute 30 left on the clock. More opportunities for Booz Clues as they're going to cross in again. Tid over top isn't bound to find much, but already the Booz Clues players are back in mid. They're ready to receive all of these little trash balls that get thrown out. And oh no, that's an open goal. This is a dangerous situation. And that's an easy shot for Feed. A 2-0 lead. I mean, normally it wouldn't sound like too much, but against an Overcommit who struggled to put a shot on net at all, really does feel like the end of game 1.
Sure does seem like it, but who knows, right? We haven't seen any linear attack from our boys in Overcommit just yet, but oh boy, Scripto. He is in that back lines. Tid, same thing, just trying to cover it up. In goes a great ball, but Feed could actually take this coast to coast if he wants to. Good knock up to Tid. Tid is just destroying this defensive side, still making his way forward. There's still one player in the back line ready to try to commit for, and that's Smackdow. Smackdow can't get it. Instead is Feed. Beautiful pass. It's not even a pass. It's a shot into the goal. Tid is there for the demo. And just like that, Booz Allen, they show their teamwork prowess, and it works out for a 3rd nail in the coffin for this game.
Feed with maybe the lowest altitude flip reset I've seen in my entire life, but damn did it look sexy going through that explosion. 3 up now. Booz Clues are likely sealing out this first game, but I think Overcommit can clearly take some notes here, right? This is where we start talking, and this is where you can test, actually, how do we want to build out of our half? How do we start creating opportunities for ourselves on the attacking side? And honestly, I feel like they've done a pretty good job of making the saves correctly and distributing the ball efficiently towards the sides of the field. It's what they're doing with it after that, right? A lot of the times those balls are being thrown up towards midfield without too much intent. And if they can slow that down, maybe dribble out of their own half, take some of them up the sidewall, try and go for crosses from the midfield, then I think that's an opportunity that they can really start building off of and looking towards using to try and create goals. Because I believe that this team probably does have some pretty strong attacking prowess and probably does have some pretty strong shots and team play that they can look to be making. It's just they're not giving themselves that opportunity. Once they get there, it'll be a big difference maker for them, and they should be able to put up a significantly better fight against Booz Clues, who, in their own right, did look dominant, did look like the Booz Clues that we expect to see here at CEA.
Yeah, and I mean, Booz Clues at this point, it's the team that we more or less expect to be, kind of that explosive side in terms of attacking. But even then, Overcommit, they made it into this phase for a reason, right? Although they had a little bit lower of a seed. I think everyone that made it to this Division 1, type position, to these playoffs, especially with how tough Division 2 and 3 actually were to try to make your way over, this in itself is already a great achievement. And I can't really give a discrepancy to really any of these teams. Yes, one might be better than the other in terms of what would be ranking, maybe momentum that day, or just personal experience, but I think it's anyone's game from this point on door.
Yeah, I mean, with the 7-match series potentially being on the board, there's a lot of time to adjust. We saw in last week's match, it actually ended up being a relatively deciding factor that there were 5 games because it was just a touch too late that we saw the match turned around. With that one more game buffer, to try and really separate things, or even, up to a 2-game buffer, it being best of 7 versus best of 5, it'd be a 3 to win versus 4 to win. You've got just, whether it be 5 or 10 more minutes of in-game time to try and figure out what you need to do, and that can make all the difference, especially when it's a team like Overcommit who may take a second to adjust to the playstyle of Booz Clues, who are rightly in the driver's seat considering their skill level.
It changes everything. I mean, it changes the whole dynamic of the game. It changes the timing, changes the momentum, definitely changes the confidence for everyone involved. Confidence is still very much a factor in this tournament. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game number 2 of a potential 7. Booz Clues, again, they ended up winning game number 1, very dominant towards that last minute. And again, still assaulting that defensive side, and we're only 10 seconds in.
We got a long way to go. Game 2, though, like you said. And this time, it's not exactly the defensive end that we expected to see out of Overcommit, but they're going to be punished for that rightly. Side roll shot for Intuitive. Not much to be had. Scripto. This guy's always in the goal. I have no clue where he comes from or how he gets there. He just refuses to leave his defensive line. And for as good as all the saves look, for as mechanically adept as Scripto seems, again, you just wish that getting out of the half was more so inside of that wheelhouse. Cuppet, the only man back for the save now, has a lot of work to do unless Intuitive loves this ball. Does manage to get it out center. His feed with a beautiful shot. It's laid up from the tap on in, though. 1-0, and there was no stopping that play after the rotate came in a little bit late.
Came in a little late, and I think it was a lot of bit late. Again, only one person on that line. It's just incredibly awkward. And again, this is that's kind of going to be the one thing that Overcommit or it's essentially their X factor to lose. It's going to be that rotation back. It's going to be that 3-man setup on their defensive side, if they can even take advantage of. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we keep talking about the defensive side, but we never really talk about the potential on the attack, because man, oh man, we actually have Overcommit with their first goal. Mistake from Tid and a nice shot from Scripto, and that's going to be the tie score line early on. Again, the defensive side for this team is still going to be way more of a factor going forward, but it's good to see that they at least have their lust for goals back.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a mistake just from Tid. I think that's Booz Clues getting really complacent. They didn't rotate back particularly quickly, and they haven't found any of the attacks from Overcommit to be threatening quite yet, so they didn't feel the need to react in time. But it shows that this team does have teeth. They can score goals, and we figured it. You can see from their mechanical ability, straight up, they can go toe-to-toe with all of these Booz Allen players. It's just a matter of getting it out there, getting those opportunities. Now, though, Booz Allen back in ball control, looking to put themselves at an advantage for the game. This is a beautiful setup. Scripto's up for the save, and back to the corner this ball goes into no man's land, where continuously Booz Clues just hammers shot after shot onto net. Scripto with a beautiful challenge. Cuppet's not out of the goal, though. They're playing so passive. They've got another bouncer up towards midfield, but it takes so much to work it up past there with the ball control of Booz Clues. Smackdale has a beautiful opportunity for a shot. Chooses to go high with it. Tid with a great bump out. Cuppet maintaining ball control into the corner, and now it's Booz Clues who have to figure out how they want to play this. A great touch by Scripto. It's still in dangerous territory as Smackdale has another opportunity, but again, it's laid wide.
Oh, unfortunate, but in comes Intuitive. Oh, man. Yet another opportunity. Scripto puts his body on the line for that one. Feed once again, still aggressive on that front end. That's unfortunate. A really commit there from Smackdo. Does not get that sort of depth perception in, but he's still able to get that rotation on back. Intuitive once again. Man, oh man, so many demos from this Booz Allen side, from this Booz Clues side. And, well, in the end now, you still have what is just a back and forth. Cuppet with a good double tap off the wall. Still gonna leave Scripto on that back line to try to fight. Gonna beat out at least one. Cuppet trying to lay it in, but Feed in the perfect spot. And now it could be a huge opportunity here for Booz Clues. And indeed it is. Huge fight from Feed in midfield. And it's gonna equate into a lead for Booz Clues.
This is the match I wanted to watch at the start of the day, Gus. This is the game that I expected. Back and forth. We're playing the midfield more effectively for Overcommit, but Booz Clues still a very large threat. And when you're not playing as heavily towards your defense, there are going to be more of those openings to take advantage of. And right now, Booz Clues are happy to do exactly that. Smackdo misses the ball back. They need to be a little bit careful here, but they do have ball control still. As Feeds up the wall. That's not a good touch. It's super punishable, but Scripto doesn't get the best one either. Ball back towards center as Tid's the one to lay it out. Cuppet should get a challenge here. And in fact, he will, trying to lay it out towards the side. Scripto fixing up on his mistake just a little bit now. As Booz Clues gain ball possession going into the final 90 seconds. They're going to put another one in. 3-1, extending the lead and trying to take this one home to a game 3.
Oh, man. And again, this early lead, it could kill Tid. Alongside his alongside his star-studded teammates. Thus far, they've been having an incredible game. I mean, you got to think about what is kind of their strategy going forward. What is their tactic? I think at this point, most of these players just kind of paying attention towards that midfield area and almost being too reactive in a sense, trying to go for what would be just not even just hard baits, but hard punishes rather. And well, at this point, it's all combining into what would be just an incredibly aggressive midfield area, incredibly aggressive forward attack. I mean, we're talking about a 2-1 rotation on that front end, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Intuitive on that front end not only collects the ball for himself, but also gets what is the sauciest goal that we've seen today.
Put a little stank on that one, pushing in on the player. Knocks him right out of the way. I mean, it doesn't get any prettier than that. The minute left, the 3-goal lead. It extends for Booz Clues, who have correctly adjusted to the aggression of Overcommit. They're playing more counterattack base, and they're finding every single one of them. This ball's floating in front of the goal. Feed, though, doesn't quite have the angle to put it in. And, you know, it's not exactly the most comebackable position that Overcommit are in right now. But it's definitely one where you want to put a couple more goals on the board. Make sure you believe that that first one isn't just a fluke. It's not just a mistake from Booz Clues. And I am firmly a believer that it isn't. This Overcommit side looks a lot more formidable when they're at least playing a little bit of attack. Has another opportunity now off the side wall to lay it in center. No real ball control here. And in fact, it's the Overcommit side running out of boost, which is something that may need to be thinking about heading into this next match before things get real out of hand.
Yeah, no, it's going to be real tough. And again, it's really just going to come down to what would be just the mechanical wins of their 1v1s. And I think that's going to be the toughest part for them, because they have the right strategy in a sense. And you see that with a lot of teams, not only in Rocket League, but just in esports period, where you have the right plan. You start studying. You even start to do counterplay, counter studying on your opponent. But even then, when it actually comes down to actually putting it into action, your opponent sometimes can just be too overwhelming. At this point, they all have to focus up on what would be their individual play, still keep their tactic in mind, but it's hard to try to pinpoint that, because again, it almost seems willy-nilly where they actually try to go for the rotates in. It's a little bit more conservative in a sense. It's a little bit more disciplined, and I kind of like that. But against Booz Clues, you have to take advantage of any opportunity that you have. They barely had any shots on goal this game alone. Just four. And most of them were just shots like from midfield. Nothing too crazy. They need at least a little bit more of an aggressive attacking side, and I guess we'll have to see if that even happens in the next one, Door.
You know, I'm actually noticing something with them, and I do think they put up that attacking side that you're mentioning. I think they were getting the ball into the opposing half, and yes, it may not have been shots, but the reason a lot of those weren't shots is because they were getting stopped about 3/4 of the way through, and it was all because they were running out of boost. Their control of their own boost was really, really lacking, and then off of almost every single one of those opportunities that they got in the attacking half, they ran out of boost, and then Booz Clues came in for a counterattack, and Feeder Intuitive just got to do whatever impressive display of mechanics they wanted, because there wasn't anybody back there to challenge. Had there been boost, they could rotate quicker, keep up with Booz Clues. So for me, that's the one thing I want to see them fix up now in this third game. They have an opportunity to move in and do so. It's just a matter of execution at this point.
Looks like we are waiting up, ladies and gentlemen, again for our next game. These guys really wait for your cue.
I know, they're so patient. I appreciate them waiting
patient.
for me, but you really don't have to.
Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, in we go. Game number 3. This could give Booz Clues what is the overwhelming lead in this best of 7. And oh my, Scripto, however, he wants to start things off with a bang. Again, a saucy angle to try to go for, but it just didn't work out in his favor. Still got his car in the right position, but in we go again. Booz Allen front lines. That's a double commit. Come on. No. Oh, and that's such a beautiful pass from Feed. Look at the angle on this. Look at the strength of it. None at all. Just a nice little dip and just lead in front of Tid for what is a beautiful goal. And he also has the MF Doom profile picture, so huge shout-outs. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, that's as easy as it gets for Booz Clues. Entirely a mistake from Overcommit with the double commit that you talked about right when it came out. It's such a noticeable mistake and so punishable for someone like Booz Clues, who have extremely clean rotations. 2 attempts at a touch on the ball here for Overcommit. Both missed. The Demolition's going to give them a lot of space. They should be able to deal with this. Look to build it out of their half. Touched out by Smackdo. Crypto. There's nothing here. Double touch off the back for Feed. He was completely uncontested.
Oh man, that that just hurts. But you gotta give it up to what would be kind of that last mistake from Smackdo. He wanted, of course, a much stronger hit off the swing, off the wall, but just couldn't find it. A 2-0 scoreline once again for the boys and Booz Allen. And, well, Feed, he's about to, oh my god!
Oh, the fake!
Oh, he lays it on in, but Smackdo can't get it. Again, just a hard bait to it. And Tid is still in the front line, steals the ball away. It's highway robbery. We have yet another goal. Oh my.
Look, Overcommit are happy to see that one going. You know why? Because it wasn't the one that Feed just laid down on them. Oh my lord. He's living in their heads, and he's got, you know, furnished apartment, everything. He is living it up. And completely uncontested. He's up for another one. They've got no clue what he's doing with this ball. He's hit every single one of these, but Cuppet's there, keeping it cool, locking down the net. 3-0 up. There's plenty of time on the clock here. And Script, though, for all of the mistakes that we see team play-wise, Crypto continues to be what I believe is the best mechanical player in this lobby. And Feed's definitely given him a run for his money, but Crypto's been there every single time going toe-to-toe with him.
Oh, for sure. And now in we go again. Tid on that front line. Cuppet takes it on back now. Pay attention to what would be this counterattack back because Feed already starts it off so strong. They have an anchor on the front lines too. Oh boy, you love to see that. Tid was just waiting for the ball to actually make its way in. He was just chilling in the corner. And again, that could have been disastrous for this Overcommit squad. And now Feed on the front line is going to be able to pass it on over to Tid. Tid looking for, oh, maybe even a little bit of a deflection, maybe a bump. But all we could see is that it was a fake. Feed now on that front. Intuitive has to bang it forward, and indeed he does. Whoa, threads the needle! That's amazing. I mean, you could have had that goal without Tid being there. Look at the gap between these two players. Just makes its way in, and Tid just steals the goal. Unfortunate.
He's farming stats, dude. That's all he's here to do. He just comes to task at the end.
He's farming. It's not much, but it's honest work.
No, it's a lot, but it's not honest work. I think it's kind of the inverse of the meme. He's stealing goals.
We move forward. We're halfway through our game, Doran. I think this has just become a game of ranked.
I mean, at this point, Booze Clues has turned it into a game of, right? It's not the better defense. It's the best defense is a better offense, right? Put more goals in the net, and you're happy. It's falling apart now for Overcommit. 5-0 up halfway through the game. We haven't seen anything like this at any point in the series. And even though things did get desperate in previous games, it did feel like they were still holding off. And not just by their fingertips, but it's definitely turned around for the worst for the orange side.
Still a rough time. And again, with this 5-0 scoreline, can't really do too much with it. And oh my god, from Tid's angle, that just looked like a sea of orange waving over the ball. And that's almost exactly what it was. It was just right under the ball. And it's on and away as now yet another opportunity for Booze Clues on that front end. Feed in the back. Wants to clear it up to the side, clears it up to the wing.
He wants to go all the way.
No, I know. He wants to go for some style points, and that's exactly where you set it up. Again, goes a little bit more flaccid with it, and now Intuitive with a flapjack, and not going to be able to get much off of it. 140 left in the game.
No performance issues here. We're good. 1:30 on the clock now, and with Tid heading down the field, they're looking for a 6-2 to try and close things out. Oh, no. Oh, it's a triple commit this time. It's a bouncer in. Going slow as hell. Feed makes sure that it's his, though. Tid's not coming around and stealing any goals anymore. Man, again, Overcommit. This team has so much potential. You can see it in them. You can see it in the mechanical ability that they have. It's just miscommunications left and right really need to be cleaned up.
Oh, man. And, well, this Red Hat squad of the boys in of the boys from Overcommit, it's almost tough, right? But they will be able to get at least one back. I think that's their second goal combined thus far, so that's at least something. But I think the most important part is going to be the next game, because again, this is a best of 7. This is only game 3, technically only, and I say that with much sarcasm, only. But there still might be a chance for this team, especially if we were to see what would be a very early start, because usually when you see these insane score lines, you usually don't see the team like putting on like their best effort all the time. Probably after like the first minute, they already break apart their defense, something of the sort. But that was actually a good effort there from Cuppet, as I say that. But again, it's just the thing with Rocket League. It's the trend in a sense. If you start losing out early on in the game, you're going to be less likely to just, actually fight on back. So I want to see this team freshened up, good mentality to actually put up a good fight in game number 4. They deserve it. And, well, at this point, Booz Clues, they would only need just one after this door.
Overcommit remind me of a team that we got to watch earlier on in the season. And that team goes by the name of Amazon AWS. You know what AWS stood for when they played? And this isn't even us making a joke. They named themselves Always With Shots. And then guess what they did? The entire game. I'll give you one guess. They always whiffed their shots. But they found a way to actually turn that into a positive by playing their offensive rotations really well and then using those whiff shots to create more and more pressure down the field. Overcommit, while they're living up to their name, there's less ways to play around themselves overcommitting. I think they can find value in committing heavily to whatever they're doing, whether that be defending or attacking, and playing more of a counter-attacking play style. It's just being more consistent, getting the ball out of the half is really where they fall short in correcting and playing towards the style that they may want to lean into.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, they have a plan, they have a tactic. It's just that it's impossible to actually execute on it. So when you have a team whose mentality is broken, just in that sense, you've already lost. So I think, I'm hoping that we could see at least a good fight near the end of this next one, purely because Overcommit, I feel as if you even make it to playoffs, it's such a tough road to actually get here. So put up a good fight. You guys deserve at least one last hurrah in a sense before the season's over. And I'm hoping to see a little bit more action because honestly, Scripto, he was pretty good on that front end. If we could actually see him fly a little bit more and actually get a couple of passes towards his lane, I think we should have a pretty interesting game.
Yeah, I mean, 2-7 is even the worst scoreline. We dodged the Brazil. You're welcome, Gus. You can thank them for at least that much. Look, man, every time you're on cast, it happens. We've got one more game to go. You got to knock on wood, dude.
I'm good.
You're good? You believe?
I believe.
I'm telling them right now, end the game 7-1.
I'm good.
That's it. All right, game 4. We got maybe one more, maybe a couple more. Let's see what kind of fight Overcommit can put up. You said one last hurrah. They put a couple goals up towards the end of the last game. They're clearly figuring a little something out. Let's see whether they make magic happen.
Surely so. You still have Scripto on that front end towards the right lane. Cuppet trying to fight forward. Intuitive with a pass mid. Feed trying to get a shot in, but instead it's actually going to be Cuppet missing out on his pass back. A little bit interesting. Great pass from Scripto. Miss outs. Intuitive now with control. Feed's right behind him. This could be a good passing play, and indeed he is. Just a dump back for Feed. Oh my god, the double commit for it. It's just a collision between teammates. Booz Clues, they do reset back on their own end. And this is where things could start to get dicey because now you have Overcommit on that front end. Scripto with a pass forward. Oh, man. No way! He missed!
They tried to put a lot more style on that than was absolutely necessary. That'll bite him in the butt later. But a minute into the game and scoreless currently until Tid comes in and lays another one. This guy is just a monster striker. For all of the end-to-end shots that we've seen from Feed, for all of the ridiculous air dribbles, I've not seen a more consistent striker for this team than Tid.
No, Tid's been great thus far, and I mean, it's really just been his positioning. I think for his team, as just a squad member, he is going to be just a hard scorer. He's going to be the striker. And you kind of see that in what would be the formation. Most of his teammates, they are laying around more or less that midfield defensive area. But Tid, he likes to stay in that back line. But even then, the entire team can score, right? Feed, amazing. Just as easy as you can get. It's laid in front of him off the wall. Just a singular bump. No style to it. Just a nice little cross field goal. It's going to be 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in this game. And the score is 2-0.
That may be all that's left in the game. It also may be all that's left in Overcommit's tournament life. You said it, getting this far is definitely something to be proud of, but they'd be prouder to pick up a couple goals here. I can definitely tell you that much. Scripto's got a cross through the goal. That is dangerous territory, bud. Intuitive, it's now his turn to try and make a solo play. Instead, gonna try and opt to get it across to Tid. Can't quite muscle it over there. But it'll be feed up and down the wall, laying the cross over. Intuitive will make a clean save up and off the crossbar. Trying to play it back out of the blue half. Scripto keeping it over there. Overcommit's stuffing on Booz Clues a little bit here. It's what we've been wanting him to do all series.
Oh, it's what we
no,
wanted,
Cup
but
It!
what an opportunity for Cup It. Oh, man. Gotta feel for him, but in comes yet another opportunity. Cup It with a shot. Scripto, good turn back, and that's still gonna be yet another pass. All three players for Booz Clues off that play, passing it back and forth, tiki-taka style. Tid to feed, back to Intuitive, and that's the type of team play that could be a championship-worthy squad.
That's those 1-2 passes you're looking for, dude. You dream of those kind of setups. Right in the midfield, clean shot over top. Beautiful bit of play from Booz Clues. It shows they're not all in it for individual style points. They got a little sauce as a team as well. 3 minutes on the clock, and it feels like there's just no reprieve for Overcommit. They're happy to play a little bit into the attacking half, though, as more bumps. Feed is definitely playing around a little bit with his teammates here.
Just a little bit. We're halfway through our game. We're currently up 3-0. We've seen better. We've seen better. Maybe they could press us a little bit more. That's me just getting a little bit cynical. But in we go again. It's actually going to be Cup It on that corner. Bumping away Intuitive, but Intuitive again, just cradling the ball around that midfield area. Again, just wasting up more time in a sense. So going to be a clear from Tid. Cup It on that back end. Once again, it's these transitions that have given most of this Booz Clues team the goal. And that's, again, that's very unfortunate. That comes down to defensive rotation, how effective you guys actually are off of it. And essentially, we haven't seen them have a good defensive rotation at all. I mean, it's just been a rough situation. But even then, on the attacking side, we still have a couple of chances. Great opportunity, but it's not going to come to fruition. In comes Scripto now on that back line. And Intuitive is just going to knock right by him. Top right bins. And the score is now 4-0. With 1:30 left in the game.
These guys don't have breaks. Every opportunity they get, they are putting towards the net. They're not missing wide. They're
All
not
gas,
missing high.
no breaks.
Every single one of them is a dangerous opportunity. And Overcommit, I mean, they put on some of the most impressive individual goalkeeping I've seen in a long time in that first game. But I just can't think of a single way you actually plan on stopping every single one of these shots that they're putting out, because they are just rockets, and it's perfect redirects. They're all going upper bins. They're all placed beautifully. The best thing you can do at this point, try and match it with a couple goals of your own. See if Smackdo can create one. Back towards corner, across from Cup It. No one's there to receive those. Scripto just barely out of position, can't wrap around the side of the ball. Now it's feed up and in control, trying to take this ball to the other end of the field. Not able to do so, but it'll be Tid with an easy clear as Booz Allen continue to just shred time off this clock.
It's just gonna be an easy grind. I could almost hear just some light southern, just a light southern drawl to him, just like, yes sir, no, ain't not much to it. It's all just honest work. It's all just too easy. You hear just, you know, Hotel California playing in the background. It's all
what is going
too
on? Is this a
easy.
fever dream?
Hey man, all I'm saying is just that it's all too easy for them. They're having a great time at the moment. They were playing up in what would be game three of a best of 7. And again, they've just been having a good time. I don't know where I was actually going for that. I was really just telling you what would have been my harmonious, more or less my harmonious plays in a sense. But even then, these boys, they're having a great time. 10 seconds left in the game. The game is over, Door. Booz Clues are going to be moving on into the next round of playoffs.
I mean, it was the expected winner. You're looking at 3rd seed versus 30th. The way to go, Overcommit. Take yourself out with the bang. Get one more for the go. And congratulations to them. They put up a hell of a season. Getting to playoffs is no small feat. I mean, to break it down, Division 3 didn't make it. Half of Division 2 didn't. Actually, over half of Division 2 didn't make it. So getting up to playoffs, you're top 50%. You're going out in the first round, so you know you're at least sitting with the big boys. But you couldn't take it at home against Booz Clues, who, by all right, have looked like one of the most dominant teams we've seen all season and look like, honestly, one of the favorites to try and take away the win. It's a tough match, though. Regardless, congratulations to Overcommit. Congratulations to Booze Clues. Great games all around.
Great games, and ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to take a little bit of a break because if I'm not mistaken, we are going to be lining up an interview with one of the players from Booze Clues in anticipation for not only their next playoff match, but just for their playoff run period. So we're going to get a little bit of info from them. We're going to have a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned. My name is Upmind, joined here by Door. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, friends of all ages. We've got Tid up in the booth with us. We promised you guys an interview, and boy, do we have one. The striker up here, the man playing in the front of the field. Congratulations on the win, and welcome back to playoffs. It's nice to have you on broadcast again. And you know, you guys ended up scoring maybe a lot more goals than you were ready to. Was that how you expected the match to go?
Potentially, yeah. We knew coming into it we had decent odds at coming out on top. Playoffs are always fun, though. We enjoy the best of 7. They were pretty good. They had a lot of solid mechanics, but we managed to skate by with a lot of goals, so turned out well.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at the game, and it more or less just seemed, especially early on, both teams were really just trying to get a little bit of their grounding down, in a sense, just trying to get their mechanics backed up, see what kind of rotations are in. But in your opinion, what really was the difference between your team and your opponents?
No sugarcoating it. That was a feed difference. He's quite insane. Dude literally has carpal tunnel grinding 1 so much. So it's just a feed diff across the board. There's not much more to say about it. Me and Intuitive, we try not to double commit to every ball. You know, that happens quite often either way. And get feed some space and the ball usually goes in.
No, I've got to ask an important question then, right? If you're identifying feed at the head of the team, there were definitely a couple choice touches from you on the ball right before it ended up going into the goal. Stat padding or tactical goal stealing? Where does it land on that scale?
It's more or less us trolling feed. Yeah, there's not much more to it besides that. He likes to score his goals, and we kind of wish he passed more. So oftentimes during the game when he goes for those solo plays, you know, we're outfield, we're ready for the pass, and he does it. We got to get back somehow, and you know, bumping him around a little bit makes us feel a little better.
Oh man, one last question. First of all, it's a double barrel, so technically 2. First of all, what are your hopes for playoffs, and what is your affiliation with MF Doom?
Oh, long time MF Doom fan. Matt Villainy favorite album of all time. I think he's just an incredible artist. Are you a fan yourself?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's not many of us out there, so.
Hey man, it's the culture in a sense.
Yeah, love to meet an MF Doom fan. And your other question about the playoffs coming up, right?
So yes, sir.
Yeah, so last year, disappointing ending, going against Microsoft. I feel like we played really well last season, just didn't quite work out in the end. We definitely have higher expectations coming into it. Feed has definitely become a lot better player. Intuitive and myself have been playing. I'm not going to say we've improved very much, but we definitely think if we kind of get down a little bit more, we should hopefully come out on top this season.
Hey, we've got high hopes for you. We've seen you a good few times on broadcast, so we know you well. We want to see you go further. Congratulations on the win today. It's just the first step going into playoffs, so keep preparing. Can't wait to see you on future broadcasts.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Take it easy. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our broadcast for today. There's more matches next week. They only get better. The seeds only get closer, and we get better and better teams on broadcast. If you want to catch more Booze Clues, any of the other exciting teams we've got going on, same time, same place, Saturday, 2 p.m. Don't miss it. For Upmind and I, though, that's all we have. Ladies and gents, take it easy.